going on, Jerome's? So one of my favorite new traditions is the NFLPA's annual report cards, where they just anonymously chat on their organizations, which is great. Now, last year, the Vikings were number one in all the various categories, which is fantastic. The Vikings, I do feel, have a great organization. I do think that they reinvest in the players and facilities, and they do care about the players as human beings. Now, does that win you games? I mean, potentially, but also treating the players like human beings and with families and lives and stuff is really important, and also could help in free agency. Of course, money does talk. I mean, some of these guys for an extra $1 million would go play in like. I'm trying to think of a city to throw under the bus, but I want to be nice about it. So, like, if the NFL moved a team to, like, I don't know, Paducah, Kentucky, or like Appleton adjacent. Like, if they put a team in a very small town in Wisconsin that wasn't even Milwaukee, players would still go there if they paid the money. That's all, man. Although you notice that Green Bay isn't really active in free agency because they would have to overpay for free agents, so they always just go through the draft, which is like, hey, you have to go here. It's great, man. But long story longer, Pelissero, go. The Dolphins ranked number one on the latest NFLPA club report cards released today based on player votes regarding working conditions. The Vikings, who were first last year, ranked number two, and those two were far and above ahead of everyone else. NFLPA President J.C. Tretter said, hey, you think we should sign J.C. Tretter to play center? Maybe, man. But so the weighted scale, it goes into this. So team owner, 15%, head coach, team travel, strength coaches, weight room, training staff, training room, locker room, dietitian, cafeteria, treatment of families. Treatment of families only 6%. F the family. So basically everything that goes into like the daily lives behind the scenes of the players, like it doesn't even get into like game day, it doesn't even get into like fan base and stuff like that, but basically all the ancillary stuff that goes into being a professional football player gets taken into account. This is what the overview for the Vikings, or overview for the voting this year. Minnesota along with Miami have separated themselves into their own tier in terms of what it means to run a world-class NFL workspace. The Vikings continue to impress across all categories in our second annual survey. Their facilities are incredible. No big deal. Their staff is rated highly by players in the workplace. Experience for the Vikings players is enhanced by the continued commitment by ownership to providing a world-class experience for players. As an example, Vikings players unanimously believe that their strength staff can contribute to their success by supporting each player with the best possible individualized plan. And for the second straight year, Kevin O'Connell stands out as head coach for whom players enjoy working with. Ziggy Wolf ranks second among all club owners and ownership groups, which shows how much confidence players have in his willingness to create a workspace that, in many areas, sets the standard across the NFL. And see, that's what I never understand. Where if you have an owner, and yes, ownership is all about maximizing dollars and all that stuff, but if you want to have good workplace morale and just reinvesting in facilities, making sure that you have the budget to get tier one strength and conditioning people, certified athletic trainers, dietitians, just childcare for families on site or convenient site, and also have that included. Like, in the grand scheme of things, a couple of bucks, and yes, a couple of bucks is a couple of millions or tens of millions, but in the grand scheme of things, owning a $1 billion franchise, it's certainly worth it. If your employees, your players are just feeling good about their location, I mean, that does play into part. Now, will they take significantly less to stay here? Or will free agents take significantly less to come here? Probably not. But also, it does factor into workplace morale, and a team that feels good about itself, has a little bit more confidence, is dedicated. I feel like at the end of the day, that does work in your favor versus just completely Spartan conditions. The Vikings ranks treatment to families A+ first. So the Vikings do have on-site childcare, as well as they take care of the families in terms of tickets. Like you see on social media, families are always around, and it feels like they include the families quite a bit, whether it's training camp, whether it's practices, whether it's whatever. Like, the Vikings, football is family. And I think the Vikings do back that up. Food, cafeteria, B+ 7th. Like, hey, how'd you like to be the head chef of the Vikings facility? It's like, hey, heard you were talking ish. Nutrition dietitian first, locker room first. Vikings locker room is pretty damn sweet. Training room second. They slipping. Training staff ninth, B. So now I have to get into like the Asian parent things. Like, what does this B? It mean you be homeless if you don't get A. Weight room, A, eighth. I mean, the Vikings weight room is pretty sweet. Strength coaches first, team travel second, A minus. Hey, Delta, step up your ish, man. Head coach second, but still an A plus. And ownership second, still an A plus. So, I mean, the Vikings across the board did very well. And also goes into it. The players give high ratings to Kevin O'Connell, making him the second highest ranked head coach in the NFL. 98% of players feel Kevin O'Connell is efficient with their time, fifth overall. So, just for ease of math, let's say that they surveyed 50 players from the Vikings. So one player, 2%, one player just said, nah. I wonder who it is. I want to find out. That's great, man. The players believe Kevin O'Connell is very willing to listen to the locker room. So, yeah, Kevin O'Connell is definitely a player's coach. He's got a leadership council and all that stuff. He's not a authoritarian, dictator type player. He definitely listens. There's definitely a back and forth, and he's definitely more of a modern football coach in that regard. And the modern NFL player, it does resonate with them. And also, with these rankings, it's not so much where the Vikings are; it's about who's last. So Ari Mary of My Sports Update grades of Vikings and Dolphins A+, and then second tier you got Eagles, Broncos, Jaguars, Ravens, Packers, whatever. But down at the bottom, so remember the Cardinals were at the bottom last year, and they made waves because they make their players pay for dinner at the facility, which hopefully they rectified. But down near the bottom, so D+ Patriots, you got the Panthers. Hey. David Tepper, well, they can't invest so much money in the facilities because they have to keep paying out all these coaches. I mean, Matt Rule and Frank Reich are on the payroll for years, man. Buccaneers, Bucks have never been good. Even going back to like the creamsicle days. Steelers, a bit surprising. Cardinals and Chiefs. So down the bottom, I mean, Patriots, Steelers, Chiefs. Teams have had success and premium franchises. And again, this goes into all the behind the scenes stuff. The facilities, the locker room, the training staff, the dietitians, the cafeteria, all that stuff. But what's interesting about the Chiefs? So the Chiefs, D+ for treatment of families, which it's kind of rough, man. Well, first off, hey, does Taylor Swift count? I know she's technically not married, but does she count as family? Because it feels like she gets treated pretty well by the Chiefs. Food cafeteria, C-. Nutrition dietitian, F. How would you like to be the Chiefs dietitian walking into work today? Or just like, I made you guys specialized smoothies. Locker room, F. Training staff, F. Bro, we just won the Super Bowl. I just taped your ankles and you give me an F. It's crazy, man. Strength coach was 7. Team travel, head coach Andrew Reid, A+. He's the only thing holding them up. And ownership F- at 32nd, which is wow. So first off, if you're the Chiefs owners, do you care? Because you've won 3 out of the last 5 Super Bowls, and you have Mahomes, who's a nuclear weapon at quarterback, and he is locked into a long-term deal, and he's still not even scratching the surface of his prime. So are you just like, whatever, man? And with the Chiefs, this is from their summation. From the results, it's clear that there has not been a significant reinvestment back into the facilities, even after consistent success. This has led to a high level of frustration among players, respondents, and reflects in club owner Clark Hunt's ranking as the least willing to invest in team facilities among all NFL ownership group, in the opinion of the respondents. So it's kind of rough. And it's a bad look. And again, I do like when they air out the laundry. Oh wait, this is owner grades. Whatever. When they do air out the dirty laundry, pun intended, of the teams, because this can affect change. I mean, if you're an owner and you're on the bottom, I mean that could entice you to reinvest in the team and make working conditions better for the players. And you could say, well, the players are so pampered and whatever, but I don't know, man. I feel like if you want your team to do the best, having the best facilities and having all these best, soft skills, it does go a long way. It really does. But your thoughts are thoughts. Viking Rank number 2 in the NFLPA report cards for the season. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.